rotation. We are seeing a relatively weak hook echo signature on radar. So what that means is generally when the National Weather Service radar operators are looking for any type of rotation, that would be the reflectivity or the rain signature they're looking for around these storms. So when we pull up velocity, we are getting a relatively weak couplet, which just means that is where we see red and green, or the colors going towards and away from the radar in terms of wind direction, matching one another. And when we get that, that generally is what we look for, or the National Weather Service looks for when they are tracking any rotation. So when you get those two colors next to one another, that indicates that there is some sort of spinning motion or some rotation. Doesn't necessarily indicate that there is a tornado on the ground, and this is a radar indicated rotation. So there isn't too much that the National Weather Service has behind this. There's been no official spotting. There is a weak couplet signature on Storm Track radar, and as it is moving to the east, it is moving at about 45 miles an hour. It is moving slightly towards the north and east. So let's talk about who is going to be included in this tornado warning. Anywhere 95 to the east, that stretches up from Kings Highway, Lakewood Park, down south toward Indian River Estates. This is obviously the area that recently experienced those tornadoes from Milton and all of that devastation. This does also include Fort Pierce, St. Lucie Village. It includes the barrier islands right off the coastline in St. Lucie County. It's moving towards Okeechobee Road, Oleander Avenue. It's just to the north of Glades Cutoff Road, and it's moving along Okeechobee Road to the east. Right now crossing 95 corridor, so around this Big Bend area, that is where we are watching the signature to move across. It is moving quickly. It's moving at about 45 miles an hour. So let's put a track on this right now. When we track this towards the east, we can increase that speed to a little bit higher and bring this area of rotation, whether it is actually a tornado or just some strong winds, to Fort Pierce around 113, St. Lucie Village around 114, and to Queens Cove around 117. So just be aware, stay alert to any noise, get away from doors, windows, and get to an interior portion of your house if you are within this tornado warning. And just a reminder, that does include a good part of St. Lucie County. So we are going to be continuing to monitor this as it moves towards the east. It will last until 1:30, so we will stay with you until the National Weather Service either cancels this or until they confirm it. We will keep an eye out for this on you. Right now we're looking right at the roads, and we are seeing heavy downpours. We are seeing some cars still moving, but this is a very heavy area of showers and storms, so it likely will be rain wrapped if there is any sort of tornadic activity. But right now it is just radar indicated, so there is no visual spotting of this. Really heavy downpours right now, right along the Florida Turnpike, moving closer to the coastline. This does stretch all the way out to the central St. Lucie County, and then as we zoom out, it does include the coastal communities, and it even clips the southern portion of Indian River County. But however, with the track that it's taking, it does not look like it would actually make its way into Indian River County. It is going to impact, remember, St. Lucie Village, Fort Pierce. That'll be in the next 15 minutes or so. It is moving quickly, so as the situation continues to evolve, we will of course keep you updated. But as for right now, this is what we know from the National Weather Service. Again, there is a tornado warning for northern St. Lucie County. It does last until 1:30. We are required to stay on air until the ending of this tornado warning. It is radar indicated. So if you are in any of the areas in this red triangle polygon situation, so that includes parts of St. Lucie County and also the southern portion of Indian River County, please get away from doors, windows, get to an interior part of your room, interior part of your house rather. And if you have the ability and you are in a non-permanent structure, to find a safer structure. If you are closer to the coastline, now would be your chance to do that. If you are already in these kind of areas with heavier downpours, just hunker down, find somewhere to be for the next 30 minutes or so. We're at about 24 minutes left of this tornado warning. So again, let's reset. Tornado warning for northern St. Lucie County until 1:30. I'll reset this track right now because again, it is moving very quickly to the east. About 45 miles an hour is the speed on this area of rotation that the National Weather Service is monitoring. So as it progresses to the east, we will continue to keep our eyes on it, keep you updated with where it is heading next and approximately what time. So we're starting to see right now, this is a couplet on velocity. It's a very weak signature of rotation. This is your normal velocity. We're looking at winds going to and away from the radar site, and when we look at the storm relative velocity, we can see a little bit of a better signature. Storm relative velocity essentially takes into account the storm's motion, so you can kind of isolate where, if any, there is rotation within this cell. So putting a track on this to the east at about 45 miles an hour, this does bring the area of rotation towards Fort Pierce around 1:13 rather p.m., and it is going to continue to track this direction. It likely will impact Queens Cove just in terms of some strong wind gusts. Lakewood Park looks like it'll be on the southern end of it, but the northern end of this, but everywhere in the area covered in this red polygon shape should be aware that this is an active tornado warning situation. You should treat every tornado warning as if there is an active tornado. Despite this one just being radar indicated, it is going to be rain wrapped, so it likely would be quite difficult to see even if there is any sort of tornado warning out there, or any actual tornado. This rotation indicates that when you see the red and green colors right next to one another, it essentially indicates that there's some type of circular motion, because red indicates one direction of wind, green indicates the other, and so when they're right next to each other, there has to be some method by which the winds switch such directions so quickly. So that's what we're looking at here. This tornado warning is also within another area of 2 severe thunderstorm warnings, so it should be a time that you are already indoors, away from doors and windows, because these are strong winds associated with this particular cell that we've been watching all afternoon. Brought this to you around noon. We are going to see likely strong wind gusts associated with this through at least the early evening hours. This is a look at that tornado warning. Again, the track heading towards around 1:13. It is looking like it is still moving quickly to the east around 45 miles an hour. When it first was issued, so at 12:56, it was 9 miles west of Fort Pierce South, 10 miles west of White City. So it is quickly moving towards the coastline. Does look like we've gotten an update from the National Weather Service, so I'll bring that update to you here in just a second. We are continuing to see this. Okay, it's not an update about the tornado warning, but we are continuing to monitor this as it moves closer to the coastline. Again, tornado warning in effect for St. Lucie County in the southernmost portion of Indian River County, right on those barrier islands through 1:30 p.m. It is 1:09, so we still have about 21 minutes left of this tornado warning in effect. It is moving quickly towards the coastline, 45 miles an hour. So even if there isn't an active tornado and this is a false alarm, you should treat it as if it is an active tornado, because those are really strong wind gusts in and of themselves. So you should treat it as if any debris around could be lofted up in the air. Moving very quickly, 45 miles an hour. So that's, just below tropical storm criteria. So you should treat this as if it is a perfectly real tornado threat, even though we do not have actual visual confirmation of this tornado. I'll pull up radar again just to see what we are looking at in terms of reflectivity. So this is a look at our velocity imagery, our reflectivity imagery. Right then we were looking at velocity, which is more of a wind indicator. This is a look solely at rain, and we are seeing quite heavy downpours across St. Lucie County, stretching from the southern portion of Indian River County into central St. Lucie County. So north of Indian River Estates does kind of look like it's on the southern end of this area of tornado warning, this warned area, and then it does include the barrier islands. So let's zoom in here again and get a closer look at some of the areas that are likely to be impacted by these strong winds associated with this, and the slight rotation that the National Weather Service of Melbourne is picking up on. St. Lucie Village, keep in mind you are going to need to be indoors at this point. Sunland Gardens, Fort Pierce, definitely all stay indoors, away from those windows. Find an interior portion of your house where you can get the furthest away away from any doors, windows, anything, any type of debris that could be lofted. This is your opportunity to do this to keep you and your family safe. We are seeing very, very heavy rain rates with this as well, in addition to frequent lightning strikes. So just keep that in mind. It is not a time that you want to be outside. It is not a time that you want to be doing anything except for thinking about keeping you, yourself, and everyone around you safe. So away from doors and windows. Very, very strong wind, frequent lightning associated with this cell as it is moving towards the east. This is all associated with a broader cold front. So as we zoom out, we can look at that front as it is moving towards the south and east. We are seeing light rain east of a 95 in Indian River County, all north of this cell. This is a relatively strong cell within this. We have seen some history of rotation within this cell when it moved onto the west coast. I remember around 9 when we were taking a look at this, it did have a rotation signature. No warnings associated with this particular cell as of since it moved onto the coastline, but for this cell right now, there is officially that tornado warning in effect for most of the northeastern part of St. Lucie County until 1:30. That does also include, it is included in a larger severe thunderstorm warning. So again, severe thunderstorm warning is your warning to get inside. It's time to wrap it up. Anything you're doing outside, anything you're doing where you're moving from place to place, that's your opportunity to get inside. And now this is your time that we are telling you, hunker down, get indoors. There is a rotation signature on reflectivity. We've seen a pretty decent one, not as strong as, it's not as defined, but it wouldn't necessarily be as strong because it is likely a rain wrap situation. So just keep that in mind. Away from doors and windows, stay there until the warning is officially over. Stay there until we tell you that it's okay to move away from that. So let's take another look at storm relative velocity. So what we're looking when we see storm relative velocity is we are looking to see that couplet or any green and red colors next to one another. Where was this? Okay, this is over the Fort Pierce Inlet. It does look like very heavy rainfall there. Can't see much of anything, but this is the area that we would be watching for that heavier rain exactly, and also for some of this strong wind right now. So this is where we're looking at the couplet right now. It is right now moving over A1A, pushing over those barrier islands. So anywhere closer to the coastline, it does look like if you are west of 95, you are clear right now. You should still stay indoors because you are still under that severe thunderstorm warning. And then as it continues to progress to the east, we'll continue to tell you if you are safe. Still not the time to go outside, but you don't necessarily need to be hunkering down as of right now. Let's put another track on this as it moves to the east. It does look like the only areas that are going to continue to see impact are Fort Pierce, the city itself, now Paradise Park around 1:15. So it's time for you to get inside, away from your windows, find your safe place indoors. If you have something heavy that you can put over your head like a mattress, that would be a great thing to do if you don't necessarily have a place away from doors and windows that you can be. This tornado warning is in effect until 1:30 p.m. and we are required to stay with you until that ending of the tornado warning. We have not received another update from the National Weather Service. So for now, treat this as if there is an active tornado on the ground. Even though you might not be able to see this, now is not the chance for you to go outside and look. Now is the time for you to stay safe. You can check for damage, debris, otherwise after the fact, after we tell you it's safe to leave. But for right now, there is active rotation on our velocity imagery. We are seeing that couplet, so where green meets red, it's time for you to get under the bed, and that is what we're looking at. So on your velocity imagery, you are seeing those green colors, those red colors. That indicates there's some type of circular motion in the atmosphere. You need to treat that as if there is an active tornado on the ground. You need to treat every tornado warning as if there is an active tornado. So they have actually removed anywhere west of I-95 from that warned area. So now it is solely areas from Fort Pierce to the east. So again, that includes Paradise Park. That includes those barrier islands. Queens Cove is now right out of that. I'll zoom in again to give you a better look at where this couplet is going, and then we'll erase this little storm track right here. And then we are going to be monitoring this for the next 15 minutes until this warning expires. They are likely going to continue to cut it off as it continues to move to the east. We probably have about 5 more minutes of this being over land before it makes its way over water. So St. Lucie Village, y'all need to be indoors. Sunland Gardens, you're indoors, you're away from windows. Fort Pierce, you're away from doors and windows. You'll probably be good in about 10 minutes from this rotation specifically, but y'all still want to stay weather aware. You still want to stay inside for at least the time period until those severe thunderstorm warnings expire. Again, we're looking at radar, we're looking at velocity imagery. So that is a measure, that is a picture of the wind speed in time. Same method by which we get those radar image of what it looks like when it's raining outside, but this is just wind. So it kind of takes a look at how those rain droplets are moving, how the wind speed looks when the radar beam sends out its signals, and then it gets an idea back when it sees any type of differential between wind towards and away from the radar right next to each other. That's considered a couplet. That's where they monitor areas for rotation. They also were seeing a very weak hook echo signature on reflectivity, or at least I was seeing that. Again, moving to the east, about 45 miles an hour. So this will likely, again, be offshore very shortly. But please just keep this in mind that you need to stay safe, at least until we tell you. Otherwise, right now, yeah, it doesn't even show that in the next 15 to 20 minutes there will be any impact anywhere on land. But for the next 5 to 15 minutes, that's when you want to hunker down. You want to get away from those doors and windows. Zooming out again, taking a larger look at the area, St. Lucie County into parts of Indian River County. They have also cut out that southern part of Indian River County. We're still seeing a little bit of mixture of winds. This is very typical when we have these types of lines of storms moving through the area. There's a very strong wind shift associated with these lines of storms and showers. So we typically expect to see kind of a difference in wind, but when they're in very circular shape and they're so close together, it's kind of hard to ignore that. We have to essentially treat that as if it's a rotation, as if there is an active tornado. So right now, this area of rotation is moving over the east coast of St. Lucie County, right over those barrier islands. So Regal Road, over the next few minutes, expect the largest impact there. Now this is stretching from, let's see, Okeechobee Road up towards the Lakewood Park area, up towards, looks like these graphics want to take some time to load, up towards Kings Highway. So if you are outside of that area of those roads, then you should still be inside because it is still super rainy, super windy. You definitely don't want to be outside during these times, but if you are anywhere within those roads, you should be treating this as if there is an active tornado outside your door. Right now, it will continue to progress to the east. It does look like it's kind of focusing on that northern part of this warning box. So that means St. Lucie Village, Fort Pierce, still impacting y'all. It's right now heading over towards A1A, towards those barrier islands. We are going to continue to have this warning in effect for another 12 minutes, and we are required to stay with you until that warning ends. We will likely continue to see heavy rain through about 4 p.m. up along the Treasure Coast, closer to 5:36 in Palm Beach County. So just keep that in mind. Stay safe. Always have a plan in case something like this does pop up. We are starting to get to that time of year where we're likely going to see more of these pop-up afternoon thunderstorms, although this is not that situation. This is actually a line of storms associated with a cold front. Let's pop back up radar, the reflectivity image specifically, to see what they're seeing there. Just mostly those heavy downpours, but we are starting to see a little bit of a dip in that activity, which they generally look for when they're looking at reflectivity for any type of tornado signature, any type of that dip as on the intake quadrant of what they're called supercells. That's where they're generally starting to look for that hook echo signature. It's very in the weeds, but in the thing that you need to know is it's raining super hard, it's windy, you don't want to be outside right now. Their storms are heading to the east, 45 miles an hour. Again, this warning is in effect until 1:30 for St. Lucie County. Queens Cove south to Indian River Estates. If you are within that north-south stretch of eastern St. Lucie County and the barrier islands of St. Lucie County, Watersong Way right now receiving those heavy downpours. The rain rates right now in that area are quite heavy. They are about, let's see. Oh, there's that tornado warning. Okay. It just wants to tell me about the tornado warning. That's okay. Precipitation rate, about 1/2 inch per hour. So you're going to get a good soaking there as well, in addition to lightning. Let's put up that lightning tracker to see if we have seen any of those strikes. Generally, as a tornado is touching down, if there is a tornado associated with this, there is a drop in lightning, but ahead of that we see a massive increase in lightning strikes called a lightning jump. So we are seeing a good bit of lightning across St. Lucie County, stretching from that Highway 611 towards the coastline. We have Old Dixie Highway contained within this area that is warned. Oh, now we're seeing rain rates of about 5 inches per hour as this storm continues to track to the east. That will likely pick up a little bit before that specific area sees a drop off. Let's put another track on this to see what it looks like in terms of where it's going over the next 15 or let's say 9 minutes or so as it moves off the coastline. We are going to continue to see it track towards the east very slowly. Yeah, Barrier Islands, that's going to be the main area that we're watching over the next 9 minutes, and then it will move off the coastline, and we'll give you the all clear for now. So putting an asterisk next to that all clear because we still do have a little bit of rain on the back end of this to keep an eye on because we saw plenty of heating ahead of these showers and storms moving into the area. So that can sometimes allow for a little bit of extra strength for these storms, a little bit of extra energy, if you will, for these storms as they move closer and off the coastline. So let's pop up our velocity or wind, essentially wind radar for now, to see if there's still any of that couplet activity. A little bit, not as strong of a signature as earlier, but this is what we're looking at on Storm Track radar. We are still seeing that warning box across St. Lucie County stretching from the bend in 95 down to Indian River Estates. Right now it stretches off the coastline. The Barrier Islands are likely seeing impacts. It does look like that couplet is really falling apart, so wouldn't be surprised if they let this expire and don't extend. As we zoom out and take a look at the bigger line of storms, doesn't look like there's any other areas that have this kind of rotation going on. We have a little bit of red and green mismatching, but that is to be expected when we have a cold front like this making its way through our area. We are going to be monitoring this storm specifically, this line rather specifically, as it moves into Palm Beach County, because St. Lucie County, the Treasure Coast got pretty warm today, but Palm Beach County, we're still in the mid 80s. That's plenty of energy. That's essentially like throwing ethanol fuel on a small spark. It's going to, cause it to ignite. I'm not saying that there's going to be a major tornado risk, but there is that isolated 2% tornado risk within 25 miles of any of y'all's location across our area. So that includes the Treasure Coast, Okeechobee County, although this actual tornado warning itself is only for St. Lucie County. It will end at about 1:30 if they let it expire. If they choose to extend it, it could last longer. But for right now, that velocity signature that they were watching has moved off the coastline. We are still seeing a little bit of it towards the Queens Cove area. So it's definitely breezy up there right now. Definitely breezy. St. Lucie Village also seeing that wind shift, but there isn't as good of a signature on velocity of those two red and green circles right next to one another that you generally look for, that the radar operators generally are looking for when they're issuing tornado warnings. So I would assume they're going to let this expire at the National Weather Service office of Melbourne. But for right now, there is that tornado warning in effect for St. Lucie County. From now through 1:30 p.m. This is your reminder. This is your time to go to your safe space away from windows. Find your heaviest object around, like a mattress, not any debris sort of thing that could be lofted. You want to find something heavy to put over your head if you don't have one of those interior rooms. Generally, bathrooms are good places to go if you can go into a tub. Just make sure there's no glass in the bathroom. I know there's a lot of those glass shower doors, so make sure you don't have glass in there. Also, just try and stay in there for as long as possible. This warning will expire at 1:30, and I know 6 minutes can sometimes feel like a very long time, but it is worth it for your and your families and your friends' safety. We are going to continue to see this risk for strong to severe storms through the remainder of this afternoon. Towards this evening, we'll really see that rain chance drop off. But for right now, tornado warning in effect for St. Lucie County from now through 1:30. That does include Fort Pierce. It does include the Barrier Islands, those Barrier Islands from southern Indian River County towards Jensen Beach. However, the warning box does stop just north of Jensen Beach. We are going to be monitoring this and staying with you until the warning expires or until they cancel the warning. So this is a look at reflectivity. So this is just rain when the radar beam sends out its signal and it gets back any type of interference. That's when we see this rain area pop up. Even those heaviest areas of showers associated with this cell are moving off the coastline. So over the next few minutes, we will see this warning expire. They likely will keep that severe thunderstorm warning until it expires as well, because there are stronger wind gusts. As we look to the south and west of this area of showers and storms, we're seeing others that we're going to have to continue to monitor as well. Again, as they move over land, they sometimes get broken up a little bit, so we'll just have to keep our eyes on this. But it does look like there's a good break in those showers as they're over Palm Beach, as they move over Palm Beach County. We'll of course be monitoring this because there's still the energy there for any of these cells to pop up. There's plenty of moisture in the area. If you walked outside this morning, you can tell that there's plenty of moisture out there. So that can be, with the lift that cold fronts generally have, that can be how we see some more of these cells pop up throughout the day. So again, we're looking at radar. We're looking in St. Lucie County. Indian River County, it looks like y'all are good in terms of the rainfall. You only have that southeastern portion of Indian River County still included in that severe, oh my goodness, severe thunderstorm warning. And then in the tornado warning, that is just for St. Lucie County, for the areas just to the north of Fort Pierce down to Indian River Estates, stretching just offshore. There is that tornado warning in effect for about 4 more minutes. So, you know, treat this as if there is an actual tornado. It is only radar indicated, but that does not mean that it does not exist. It just means that that is the way that they determined that there was enough proof to issue a tornado warning. If we do eventually get confirmation, it will likely be via a damage survey, but for right now, it does not seem like we have gotten any sort of visual confirmation of this, which is good. It should be that way. Everyone should be away from the ability to look for this. We are going to continue to see it make its way offshore. We are going to continue to see the risk for severe and strong storms through the remainder of this afternoon and evening. So let's take a look at that severe storm prediction center day 1 outlook. They have included southern Martin County and Palm Beach County, which was not initially in the risk for today. It's a level 1 out of 5 risk, and then there also is the 2% risk for the entire area to see an isolated tornado. So that's what the National Weather Service has been, why they've been extra careful with their monitoring for today. So our radar has been picking up on a little bit of this rotation. It does look like the primary area that they've been monitoring is now offshore. We are going to continue to monitor this for you as that warning expires. We are going to, let's see, did they expire it already? No, it's still there. All right, so we are going to continue to stay on with you for about 2 more minutes until this warning expires. Unless they extend it, then we'll stay on until they tell us not to. We will see this area of showers and storms continue to move off the shoreline. So let's put a track on this larger area of storms. Even, let's say it's moving about 45 miles an hour to the east, because that's what they told us. So there's this. Oh, that was horrible. Okay. So as this moves to the east at about 45 miles an hour, okay. Hope Sound, y'all will likely start seeing some showers and storms around 145, Tequesta 151, Belglade around 158. So just keep your eyes on your phone. Make sure that if you start to see some of that heavier rain move into your area, that you move indoors. And then just have your plan in case we do see any of that stronger storm development. We're going to see a little bit of a break in the rain right now over that 95 corridor as this cell specifically moves off the coastline. Still haven't heard anything from the National Weather Service as to what they are doing with this. They'll let it expire probably. Okay, so yeah, that's severe thunderstorm warning. One of them has expired, and then it looks like the other one will expire at the same time as this tornado warning. They are moving about, both the storms and this cell specifically are moving to the east at about 45 miles an hour. So just keep that in mind. Okay, looks like they have expired that severe thunderstorm warning and that tornado warning. All right, well, that concludes our coverage here. If anything else pops up, we'll keep you updated on air and online, cbs12.com. For now, we'll return you to your regularly scheduled.